Unraveling the Latest Controversy, Archewell's financial transparency in question. Harry and Meghan Markle, already mired in public scrutiny, now face potentially damaging allegations regarding the financial management of their charitable foundation, Archewell. Questions surrounding transparency, discrepancies in tax documents, and donor accountability threaten to overshadow the philanthropic image the couple has carefully cultivated. Let's dive deeper into this complex and potentially explosive situation, analyzing its broader implications for their credibility, philanthropic endeavors, and public perception. Established as a cornerstone of Harry and Meghan's post-royal identity, Archewell was meant to be a beacon of their values, championing mental health initiatives, gender equity, and community empowerment. However, recent scrutiny into the charity's financial disclosures suggests a potential lack of clarity in how funds are being utilized. At the heart of the controversy are ambiguous entries in their tax filings, which some analysts claim lack sufficient detail regarding administrative costs and sources of donations. For a foundation as high-profile as Archewell, these gaps in transparency raise significant red flags. Critics argue that such omissions could point to deeper issues of mismanagement or even deliberate obfuscation. Adding fuel to the fire are allocations that certain expenditures seem inconsistent with their stated charitable goals. For example, a closer look at reported allocations for operational expenses reveals amounts that some analysts deem disproportionately high compared to funds directly used for charitable activities. This is not the first time Harry and Meghan's financial dealings have come under fire. From lucrative deals with streaming giants Netflix and Spotify to the staggering sums tied to their Montecito mansion, public interest in their financial affairs has been relentless. The Archewell controversy, however, touches on a more sensitive nerve: public trust. Charitable organizations depend heavily on credibility and transparent operations. If Archewell cannot adequately account for its expenditures or demonstrate clear alignment with its philanthropic mission, the damage to its reputation could be irreversible. Historically, when public figures are embroiled in financial scandals, the fallout isn't confined to their organizations. Their personal brands also suffer, as donors and supporters begin to question their motives. For the Sussexes, this means the stakes couldn't be higher. Harry and Meghan's relationship with the public has always been polarizing. While some admire their outspokenness and embrace of progressive causes, others see them as opportunistic and overly reliant on their royal titles for influence. The Archewell scandal feeds directly into the latter narrative. For critics, this episode reinforces a perception of inconsistency between the couple's public image and their private actions. While they champion values like honesty and transparency in their media appearances, the alleged lack of accountability within their own foundation presents a glaring contradiction. Additionally, Harry and Meghan's track record with high-profile partnerships raises questions about their ability to follow through on ambitious promises. Their Spotify deal, for instance, reportedly fell short of contractual expectations, further tarnishing their reputation as reliable collaborators. Despite the storm of criticism, Harry and Meghan retain a loyal base of supporters who view the allegations as baseless attempts to discredit their humanitarian work. Proponents highlight the positive impact of Archewell's initiatives, such as funding mental health resources and providing disaster relief. However, good intentions alone may not suffice in the face of growing demands for transparency. In today's hyper-scrutinized media environment, public figures cannot afford even the perception of impropriety, especially when it comes to charitable endeavors. Supporters argued that the Sussexes are unfairly targeted due to their break from the royal family and their high-profile activism. While this perspective cannot be dismissed entirely, it's also true that charitable organizations bear a unique responsibility to maintain financial integrity. When compared to other royal or celebrity-backed charities, Archewell's current predicament stands out as particularly problematic. Established royal foundations, such as Prince William and Princess Catherine's Royal Foundation, operate under rigorous scrutiny, often preemptively releasing detailed reports to stave off criticism. In contrast, Archewell's handling of its tax filings appears less polished, leaving it vulnerable to public skepticism. This disparity invites inevitable comparisons between Harry and Meghan's approach and that of their royal counterparts, potentially fueling the perception that Archewell lacks the discipline and professionalism expected of such organizations. The implications of this scandal extend far beyond Archewell itself. For Harry and Meghan, the success of their foundation is closely tied to their post-royal identity. Archewell is more than just a charity. It's a vehicle for their values, ambitions, and attempts to build an independent legacy. Should the controversy deepen, it could jeopardize their ability to attract future partnerships and funding. High-profile donors and corporate sponsors are unlikely to associate themselves with an organization embroiled in financial mismanagement. Furthermore, the fallout could impact Harry and Meghan's standing in broader philanthropic circles. If Archewell is perceived as failing to meet ethical standards, their influence as global advocates for change may wane. At a time when public trust in institutions is already fragile, scandals like this have broader implications for the charitable sector. High-profile foundations like Archewell set an example for smaller organizations, and their failures can cast a shadow over the entire nonprofit world. For the Sussexes, this is a moment of reckoning. Their decisions in the coming weeks, whether to address the allegations head-on or remain silent, will shape not only their legacy, but also the public's faith in celebrity-driven philanthropy. Certainly, it's difficult not to feel a sense of disillusionment regarding Harry and Meghan's handling of Archewell. The couple position themselves as champions of modern values, yet their apparent inability to provide straightforward answers about their charity's finances undermines this image. One can't ignore the irony in their calls for institutional accountability while their own foundation faces serious transparency issues. If they truly aspire to lead by example, now is the time to take responsibility, clarify their tax records, and commit to greater openness moving forward. Ultimately, Archewell's success or failure will reflect the couple's capacity to transition from royal life to meaningful, independent leadership. This latest controversy may be a setback, but it also presents an opportunity for them to prove their integrity and rebuild public trust.